Hello, Shelley from Spin Cushions here. Today I'm going to show you how to make this square for my Siren's Atlas collection called Mozambique. It's really quite simple, just a really large circle gone square, lots of easy repeats. Probably the trickiest round will be the squaring off round, but once you get it, it'll be easy as. So I'm going to make mine in a single colour. You can make yours in as many as you like. It's a good one for rainbow actually. I'm going to start with a magic circle. Or you can start with your chain 3 or 4 joined into a loop if you like. It's up to you. Alright, now we're going to start with chain 3 starting chain or a false stitch. Then we're going to chain 1 and do the same stitch. So a treble chain 1 or a double chain 1 if you're US. I'm going to do that so we have 12 stitches and 12 one chain spaces. So pretty easy. I will do that all the way around and show you what's next. Okay, so I've got my 12 stitches and 12 one chain spaces, so now I'm going to fasten my magic circle tight or pull it tight. Get that behind. Okay, and we're going to join with a slip stitch to our first stitch, whether that's the third chain of your starting chain or a false stitch. Alright, next round is super easy. It's double crochets UK terms, single crochets US terms. Start by doing 1 in the same stitch we slip stitch to. I'm going to do 1 in every one chain space and 1 in every stitch around. So we're going to end up with 24 stitches at the end of this round. So I will do that and show you what's next. Okay, 24 stitches done. I just need to join with a slip stitch to my first stitch. And we'll get on with round 3. And we're going to start with chain 3 starting chain or a false stitch. Then we're going to do a treble UK or a double US in the same stitch we did our slip stitch into. Then we are going to skip one stitch, so skip the next one and do 3 stitches in the next one, trebles UK, doubles US. That's 1, 2, 3. Skip 1, 3 stitches in the next one. So we're going to end up with 36 stitches all the way around here. No chain spaces, just 32 stitches. 1, 2, 3. So I'll do that around and show you how to finish this round off. Alright, I've worked my way all the way around, skipping a stitch, 3 stitches in the next one. Now I just need to do 1 stitch in the same place as our first stitches, which is here. Just finish off that group of 3 and then join with a slip stitch to that first stitch. Right, another round of double crochets UK, single crochets US. We'll start off by doing 1 in the same place as our slip stitch and then 1 in the next stitch. Now we're going to do a stitch between, so that big hole down there, so between those 2 stitches is where we're going to do the next one, and then in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, then between the stitches, then in the next 3, all the way around. So we'll end up with 48 stitches this time. So very easy. I'll do that all the way around and show you what's next. Okay, I've just finished off this round. I've done a stitch in the next 3 stitches. Now I need to do 1 in between, and then I'm going to do a stitch in the next stitch. Just might need to pull that aside a bit and join with a slip stitch to our first stitch. So there we go. That is that round done. Now round 5. Another super easy one. Chain 3 starting chain or false stitch. Then we're going to chain 1, skip 1 stitch and do a treble UK, double US in the next stitch. We're just doing that all the way around. Chain 1, skip 1, stitch in the next stitch. So you're going to end up with 24 stitches and 24 one chain spaces. So I will do that and show you what happens next. Alright, I've gone all the way around. I just need to join with a slip stitch to our first one. Don't worry if it's a little bit cupped or at this point, because right, round 6 you need to concentrate just a little bit. We're doing double crochets UK, single crochets US. We're going to do one in the same place as our slip stitch. Now our little repeat is 2 in the one chain space, 1, 2, 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next one chain space, 1 in the next stitch. Then we go back, this is our repeat starts, 2 in the one chain space, and then 1 in the next stitch, space, and stitch. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches in our repeat. So the first 2 go together in the one chain space, and the next 3 are singly in the stitch, space, stitch. So you do that all the way around. You should have 60 stitches at the end. I will come and show you what's next. Alright, I've done all of my repeats. Just need to join with a slip stitch to my first stitch. That was a slip stitch. This is my first stitch. Oh no, that is my first stitch, I beg your pardon. Alright, now our next round is very similar to this one here, but we're going to be skipping 2 stitches instead. So we'll start with chain 3 starting chain, or false stitch, and then a treble UK WS in the same space as that slip stitch. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches and do 3 stitches in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3. Again, no chains or anything in between, just straight skipping stitches. Skip 2 stitches, 3 stitches in the next. So you'll have, again, 60 stitches again this time, but it will all be good. I'll do that all the way around and show you what's next. Okay, I've done my stitches all the way around. I just need to skip 2 stitches and do one in the same place as our first stitch, and then join with a slip stitch, and the next round is the same as what we did last time we had one of these. So we're going to start with double crochet UK, single crochet US in the same place as our slip stitch, 1 in the next stitch, then 1 between the stitches, 1 in each in the 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 1 in between. So we're going to end up with 80 stitches at the end of this round, and that's very important because if you don't have 80 stitches, then the squaring off will not work. So you really need to make sure you have the right number of stitches at the end of this round before we move on. Okay, so I will do my 80 stitches and show you how to square off. Alright, I'll just finish off this round. I need to do a stitch in between those 2, and then a stitch in the next stitch. Join with a slip stitch to your first stitch. Okay, so now we're ready to make it go square. So first off, we're going to do chain 4 starting chain, or a false double treble UK or false triple US if you would prefer to do things that way, and I've marked that up. It's better. Now 2 times we're going to do this mini repeat, chain 1 and double treble UK or triple US in the same place as our slip stitch. It's once, chain 1, and stitch in the same place again. Right, now we're going to chain 1, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then we are going to do this little repeat 6 times. Double crochet UK, single crochet US in the next stitch, chain 1, skip 1, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, 6, chain 1, skip 1, and a stitch in the next stitch. That's the last bit of our side. Then we are going to chain 1 and skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. So this stitch here, which will be in the middle above the middle stitch here, we're going to do this little repeat 4 times. A double treble UK, a triple US, chain 1. Sorry, I've explained that differently to the pattern, but basically the same. So after we've chained 1, we're going to do a double treble UK or a triple US in here, then 4 times. This is the repeat, chain 1 and a stitch, chain 1 and a stitch 4 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So our corner is 5 stitches with 1 chain spaces in between each stitch. Then we go back to our side, which is chain 1, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then 6 times the little repeat as we did before. So I'll do that all the way around and show you what's next. Alright, I've worked my way around. Now I just need to chain 1, skip 3 stitches and do a double treble UK, triple US in the same place as our first stitches. Over here. Chain 1, another stitch the same, chain 1 and join with a slip stitch to the top of your first stitch. Alright, one more round to go, and it's just double crochet UK, single crochets US. We start with 1 in the same stitch as our slip stitch. Then we're just going to do 1 in every 1 chain space and 1 in every stitch along the side. So at the end you should end up with 25 stitches along each side and 4 2 chain corner spaces. Corners are just 1 stitch, 2 chain, 1 stitch. So I'll do that all the way around and show you how to finish this one off. Alright, repeat's all done. I just need to do a stitch in the same place as our first stitch, which is here. And then chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to your first stitch. And that, if I can do it, who'd have thought a slip stitch could be so tricky, is that. Sorry, bumping the camera. So there we have Mozambique, and much the same size in the Bendigo Wool and Mills cotton as the Cascade Ultra Pima cotton. It does need a little block just to even out these sides. If you want to change size with this one, you're really going to have to, if you need to make it smaller, change hook size, because it really needs that last round. It needs every round to make it the full pattern. If you need to make it a bit bigger, you can just repeat the last round as many times as you like. So there you have it, Mozambique from my Siren's Atlas collection. Make sure you pop over to spincushions.com for some more crochet fun. Thanks. See ya.